I gotta share my screen.
I haven't programmed in a week. It's weird. It never happens. I get back on the horse.
I never programmed this much either into it. You're redesigning. I'm cleaning it up so you can see all the logic at least. Let me go to Solution Explorer. So you can see that I have broken down everything that's inactive right now. So where you get the bindings, like what buttons.
And
you
that's
can see
nice
if I go to here.
That thing is so annoying. It's always in the way.
It was in my way. All right, where is it? And I hate how it defaults to Visual Studio always defaults to open it visually. I want to open code all the time. I'll show you how much simpler this is now. Okay, so we have all this stuff that loads, but asset. Okay. So we have very simple, like when you click your mouse, and we're using consistent mouse down so everything can use that. There we go. I had a simple version of this. Ah, this one, output. Okay, this is the file. Oh, I was looking for it. Close my keyboard.
Dude, some of the windows in Visual Studio are amazingly bad.
Yeah.
They just get in the way. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Here's the thing I want to show you. It's so clean. I hate that menu. I just want to see the functions, not everything. That froze. Stop freezing. I will start at the top. There you go. For mouse move action, this is a lot of crap.
Mm-hmm.
And now, there's the thing. Okay, my mouse. Your mouse is your mouse ever annoying?
In Overjoyed? I mean,
just in general.
Oh,
What the?
no.
I'm not holding click.
What's that quick action menu you're using? Oh, is that the? Oh.
Okay, I'm gonna close Visual Studio Code. Something is blowing my computer. Of course, when you're trying to show someone something, that's when
it breaks and doesn't work. Yeah.
There you go. Okay. Please, just let me close that. Okay. So you can see that's under 100 lines.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be,
which is great. It used to be huge, didn't it?
Let's look it up on GitHub and see what it used to be.
There were a couple of functions that had a couple thousand, which made it very kind of. But then again, a lot of those functions though was like repeated code, like not repeated, but
yes,
cookie cutter like copy and paste. It wasn't
When I
actually
look
that
at it,
complicated, it was just long.
we need to go to last of it before the refactor. I just so so that this let's see.
Have we lost voice? Oh boy.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really choppy for some reason. I don't know why. The video is fine.
You're gonna do it. It does that. All right, good.
Might be a little better.
Let's see. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
It's like 3,000 lines of code.
All right, anyway, where to go?
Oh, in one function.
So you have that. Um, all this is doing is telling it which binding to use. That's what all these are doing. I'm gonna combine it together. So it knows like this quadrant uses this.
Right.
So basically it's we have mouse move actions in here and we have all the stuff that will trigger a keyboard, or a switch or a gamepad.
Mhm.
Like right here we're using call functions from here. Everything related to Xbox is in here. Everything related to Switch is in one file now.
Oh, nice. Yeah, this is what I was trying
Um,
doing before, but I just couldn't. You know more than I do about it, so it's probably
well,
best
in
if
the
you
core
speak.
UI is well, most of it is just the. I'm using HTML for it right now,
Mm-hmm.
but it'll move over to XAML once we're ready.
Yeah.
There's a code for the menu bar up top. There's a everything advanced mode related, everything related to remotely controlling. Um, yeah,
Nice. Yeah, this is what I was
everything
trying to
related
do
to
before, but
hotkeys.
I just really didn't know my way around. But AI kind of made it easier because I just asked it to explain everything, and I think it did a pretty good job. But yeah, that'll
Yeah,
make it a
so
lot
hopefully
easier.
that'll help once we're getting the logic. But you're getting the base, but we never need to get all the logic that I have.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's see what you've worked on.
Alrighty.
Stop sharing.
So I did this over the week before I left. Let me move some windows around.
Because I think the next iteration, like what I imagine Overjoyed would be, is you have an input that turns into an output.
Mm-hmm.
Like an input could be like you have a controller plugged in, and you can only press a Joy-Con. You can press one button on it. You
Mm-hmm.
have a switch in your hand, adaptive switch. You press that, it does things. You have your voice, you have your head. With
Mm-hmm.
all these different inputs lead to whatever output you need.
Right, and simultaneous input, which is kind of where it struggles right now because we only have right now you're only using one at a time. Where we ideally you want to have voice and the mouse.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so the base code, like, I mean, obviously it works well because the app works. But a big thing that your code base currently isn't using is object-oriented programming, which really helps like breaking up big projects, and it helps like onboarding like new developers, and basically you can learn it a lot faster. And it's kind of like what you did, where you broke it up in every files, but there's just more files now, and not just like one big if statement. So I first started with trying to figure out how to make like a custom. They call them views. So a button or like a paragraph or basically anything you would like, or like a text input, that's a view. Basically anything on the screen. Um, and I looked into making a custom one. So I started with the dial, and
And I think like that is should be our main focus. Just get it. Step one is get it to look and act like current Overjoyed, and then go from there.
right, right. So I started with the dial, and basically you can create these things called graphics views, which is basically a custom view that you define. And so every view is really just a box. And in that box, you have functions that are triggered when the mouse like clicks on it. So like when the view is
Like
resized,
very advanced buttons.
right, right. So you have you have, where is it? So hit test detects where the mouse is within the box. On start interaction, that's like on click when you click it. And then this is when you move your pointer within the box. So we can basically have any shape view we want as long as we have the math to determine where the mouse is in the shape we're designing. So inside the box is a dial, and there's basically just um, there's math to determine like how to draw it, and there's math to determine which of the quadrants the mouse is in, or if it's in the center.
Can I
Um,
see this code in action? That might help me later.
yeah, yeah, it's kind of overwhelming. I know it's like all brand new stuff. Uh-oh.
Oh, build errors. There's always build errors. One error.
First,
Oh, two errors.
did not. Eh,
Data at the root level is
I didn't touch this.
okay.
I literally didn't touch this. This was working before I left. No.
Yes, I know. It's called when you're showing it. This is what happens.
Oh, it's supposed to be there.
Oh, there's a. Oh, of course. It's just a semicolon. I don't even know how you added that by accident.
Okay, there it goes. Okay. So this is like a custom view for the dial. And basically it's an invisible box around it, and it will determine like where the mouse is. So when I enter it, it'll just start doing the hovering calculations. So then it will determine like where the mouse is.
I guess they will make it look more like Overjoyed after we
Right.
get the
Right.
basics
Yeah.
in.
And I don't know why this isn't loading the binding input, um, but basically I created the dial. I created a way of making like a plug and play virtual input system. And then I created a binding system that reads from files. So the way I was thinking about it was you have your main screen, and it's resizable, so you can make it like as big as you want. And the way I viewed it is we're making a custom controller, so we're going to have a bunch of different custom views. So, like maybe you have a slider because using axis input with buttons on the dial doesn't work very well. So maybe you have a slider that is an axis input for the x-axis. And I was thinking like steering in Mario Kart. Imagine if you just had a horizontal like scroll bar. That would make steering
Yeah.
like way easier. Or maybe we make like a circle with a little circle on the inside, and then you can grab the little circle and move it around like a joystick. Like really, the sky's the limit as to what widget we can make. And in the future, I would want to make it so
It's like drag and drop almost.
it is, yeah, it is drag and drop. So you can just drag whatever view you want on here. You can go into the controller editor and just bind it to whatever you want, and we'll have like different options. And AI did most of this UI for me, so like this is just a simple menu, but for bindings, I can just add bindings here, and each dial is responsible for placing its icons. So or each
I
view.
guess like right now you just have keyboard.
Right, right. It's just keyboard right now.
And
But you
I think
can
that's our first goal is just keyboard.
right, and you can bind
And
whatever binding you want to it. And I would think that certain views would only have certain like available because it doesn't make sense to put like an axis binding on a button. Like that doesn't really work very well. So over here, I just called them controllers. So each of these pages would be a controller, and you just add custom. Instead of views, I call them widgets because it just makes a little bit more sense. I don't know why they call them views, but just in the future, I'm just thinking of multiple different widgets on here for different controls. So I'll show you the binding file, and I had Claude make these like documentation docs. So it kind of explains what everything does, which I think is a better job than
okay.
me talking about it. So basically for the bindings, it puts it in a really wacky folder. Let me go find it.
I'm guessing it's like a JSON file.
Yeah. Yeah, but I just want to show you. This makes no sense why they put these files in such. Because if you put it in resources, it doesn't read it from there for whatever reason when you start the app. It's in this weird folder called username data. This is deprecated. So this is what it looks like. So in each controller file, you have the layout, which defines all the views, their options, and like where they are. You have the name of the controller, which this should just say test controller, not bindings, but whatever. And then you have the bindings themselves. So you specify the name of the widget that the binding is for, and then you specify I call them slots. So for the quadrant or for the dial, you have the quadrants and then the buttons in the center. So like quadrant 0 is a slot, quadrant 1. So then you specify the name of the action you want it to do, which in this case is the W key. And then there is a list of, or key value pairs of like options. Because I was thinking like you have hover, like activates on hover, activates on click, maybe it does something on hold. But then if you go into all these different views, you really need like all sorts of different options. Because like once you get
I would
into,
say one thing I would add is, I guess I'll call it behavior. And the behaviors are hold until release. So
yeah,
it'll
like
hold the
all of
button
those would
until you
be
release it.
options.
You hold until release, toggle once.
Mm-hmm. And we can
Once
like
means it
modify
just it
that, but
presses it. Yeah.
the important part is that it's like it's open for us adding more in the future. Because we're not just doing a dial, we're going to do all sorts of different widgets.
And can you make it so you can add as many keys as you want?
Right. Yeah. Multiple key inputs, like chorded input, which is what I would define it as. But it should. Yeah, it's not loading it properly. It should load the first binding file that it finds in the controller, or the first controller that it finds. And then for virtualizing input, which is kind of important because I'm kind of thinking of this as we eventually want to put it on Mac because it's a desktop app. Like we shouldn't just limit it to Windows.
Now, how the heck do you virtualize something on Mac? I have no idea.
So the package that we're using for, God, where is it? Input, keywords.
Greg Stack.
Yeah. So the Greg one works for Windows only, but they have ones for
Yeah, that's the easy
Apple.
one. Keyboard's easy. It's the other
Right.
stuff that's.
So I created this virtual input device. Just, and if you look up object-oriented programming, this will make more sense. But basically, I'm saying that every keyboard or joystick or basically anything you're using as an input device, we're going to create a virtual version of it. And every one of those input device has action inputs, and I have to add axis inputs. And they have like one or the other, maybe they have both. I don't know. I don't know why you'd have both, but and basically every one virtual input device that we create has a function that will fill this dictionary with all of the available inputs for that device. So
Okay.
here I have, this is the Greg's, whatever, that package. And in the create function,
I'm thinking the Switch and the Xbox should just be drag and drop now. You just drag the code in.
what do you
It
mean?
should just work out of the box, just like I am.
Right. So basically, this just abstracts virtual input devices so we can have any device we want, and it'll just have these lists of things it can do. And so here, create key creates an action input, and all an action input is because the two basic inputs are axis and action, like a button. So all an action input is it has a label, a source for the SVG icon, and then for action, since it's a button, you have a function called when for down, a function called for up, and a function called for press. And then for axis, you would have, this would be a lot bigger because you'd have like accelerations and like dead zone and like all sorts of different stuff. So, and in the future, we would have multiple keyboards depending on what desktop you're using. So we would have probably this one for Windows, and then another one for Mac. And maybe the controllers too need that, but I'm not sure.
All right. Well, I think this is great. Can we make a list together right now of all the features we need to work on and add? Like,
Well, I
because
think
I've gone through all the code and stuff.
like all the features from Overjoyed, you mean?
Yeah, that we want to add to this system point.
I mean, I think we already know most of the features that we want. I mean, it's in like just go use the app and then like use the old one, use the new one. If you can't find it, then obviously we need to put it in there. I mean, that's basically what I was.
Oh, the most important thing, and let me actually, 1 second. There is something we have to do with the window to allow it to not take focus. Let me look get that for you. Because that is the most important thing. Because we need the input to reach the game and not Overjoyed. So let me find that.
And another thing too,
And
I think we should add a bunch more options to controlling the window. Because I was thinking, like, if you have, maybe you want to make a really big controller that's on the base of the screen. So we want options for like locking it in certain points of the screen and having it always be overlaid no matter what application you click on. Just options like that. Invisibility is one. But I would put in like a whole settings menu for the controller. So you'd have the controller editor and then you'd have a gear icon for the settings menu. And that's where you have all these options for how the app itself behaves. Because maybe you want to start the app like this sized. And you want it like down here. And you want it to always start like right there. Because I mean, depending on what the game you have, it might, be better to have it like at different sizes. I don't know. This is really bare bones right now, but and also making the resizing like make sense because this is really like dumb looking right now. It kind of needs to be like, at least that big. I mean, obviously we'd set limits. Like you can't make it like this small.
it's probably the most important piece of code we need to figure out. And just to the on Discord.
You don't want to stop sharing.
Oh, you keep sharing, and then we'll figure out the code together on your screen.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Surround this code.
It should be showing the binding icons here. Just odd.
Okay. So the most important thing in that is the WSEX no activate. It took me like 2 years to find that.
And these are just Windows API.
Yeah, so WSEX no activate will make it the window not take focus. But you can still click and interact with it, it just won't take focus.
And I don't know if this is the same for .NET MAUI, but it's definitely like we need the feature, and there's most likely a way to do it, but it might not look exactly like that.
It is .NET MAUI. That's what I made that in.
Oh, okay. Well then, yeah, it'll work.
I did it in the XAML.cs file.
Mm-hmm.
It uses Win32 functions. Because I couldn't find any other way to do it. I looked for like a year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and just like that is a very important option. Keeping the mouse, whether or not you want the mouse to stay in the controller or out. in another like view
Actually,
I was
I'll
mentioning,
let me show my screen. Okay. Go ahead.
just remember the picture I showed you in Canva where you had
Yeah.
like a grid of buttons. Like maybe we add, make the options of the window like one of the buttons in a controller, so you can like swap it out on like while you're using it. Because maybe in certain sections of the game you want the mouse to stay in here, but then a menu comes up and you need to leave, so then you would click that button and then leave. Just to make it as customizable as possible. But I don't know why this icon thing isn't working right now. It's kind of annoying because you can. Right now, it's not binding the file for whatever because it should print. Like these should save. I don't know why it's not.
Or is this my screen or your screen? I don't know. It's my screen. I can tell.
Yeah, that's your screen.
It was so weird. I couldn't tell who's. Oh, this thing's in the way again. Get out of here.
And I did like a really shitty job explaining that. So if you read I still have to put this in a repo. I haven't put this in a repo yet, but
You're doing a really good job explaining it.
the markdown documents do a way better job. I do not explain code well. And in fact,
So
we had to make videos of explaining code, and I would just do so many takes of the same thing because I was so bad at it.
all right, can you type? So we're gonna make a list right now, just so I don't go crazy. All the features in here because I always forget I have some features.
Hang on, let me get a.
The first thing we want to do. Where
Why
is
the
it?
hell is Google Drive always doing this? Let's do it in a notepad. Okay, ready.
Where is the hotkey thing? Where is it? All right, so we have this fun thing. So right now I'm using these hotkeys. So like you can use for example, if you have a program or a button you use that presses a key, Overjoyed can listen for that and use that to press buttons. So let me actually show you. I'll actually start it and show you what it does. But it'll allow us to integrate with any existing technology that outputs as a keyboard. Because there is a lot like that. Even the adaptive switches, those use keyboard keys.
Mm-hmm.
I think I hit start. Okay,
And
so
that's the like the two things. It's like you have input coming in to the computer, and then you have the virtual input that you create from the physical
yeah,
stuff.
I call it a trigger and then a output.
Mm.
All right, let me open up
Because the
my.
Greg's stack thing that just recognizes a keyboard input, so it's not like, um, or it just creates a keyboard input.
The tricky thing is when a window's not in focus, it's difficult to get it to hear those things.
Right. And same thing with that keyboard. Like if you click outside that window, I mean, you have to click back into the browser to get it to activate, to focus like where you're typing.
Yeah, so
Oh, that's handy.
okay, I added all these cool things so you can see as you go further away, it fills up that background of the prompt.
Mm-hmm.
So you know it's a variable. See what I mean with the blue?
Yeah.
And then if I click and hold, it'll fill up and then I'm free.
Yeah, and I mean, this is where I kind of got the idea of just putting the joystick in, because like, why are we using, like, why the dial for, why not just grab the center circle and move it with your mouse to where you want it, and have like kind of like what that controller looks like in the browser.
All right, so we have combined inputs from other systems. We have that. So one option is to trigger with keyboard keys. And I picked all the keys that are not used often. Because I didn't want our app to be tracking what keys you're pressing.
Right.
So this is all the keys for all the quadrants. And if you want to do mouse move action, all you have to do is press the key. If you want to do a left click action or a right click action, you hold shift or control. I'll show you that. Where does the dial go? Okay. I've never seen that before. Where's the dial? Anyway, so I'm pressing minus on the keyboard equals. If I hold shift and do minus, it's going to do that key. And the reason I did that is there's a tons of tools that help for those keyboard, including shuffle. Like if I go here, turn the microphone on. I guess you can see it. Oops. Oh well. Down, up, left, right.
Why is it holding all three though?
Because I have it, and then it comes back to the regular.
Oh,
I have it in toggle mode, so I know it's going to press. Expect that. Yes. No. 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 4. Up, down, left, right.
I mean, honestly, I think I would
Uh,
focus just on mouse input first, and then move on to different.
I know. Because they actually, Shuffle gave us a free access to their SDK. We can add that directly. So instead of using their app for it,
Right. You
we
can
can
integrate it
build
with
it
your own.
directly into Overjoyed at some point.
So it's not just
And
using your mouse; it's using
they've
Overjoyed.
already worked out the yeah. So let me show you everything else they can
But
do.
I mean,
And
it would be. I mean, I guess you kind of want that, but if you want to use Overjoyed and voice control at the same time, you wouldn't really want. I guess like having the option to voice control Overjoyed is nice. I'm just thinking of, if you want to use both at the same time, you would just open the Shuffle app and Overjoyed, and then you would be talking.
it's just a lot easier when it's all in there though.
Right. Right.
It's easier for our users. Like, yes, we're gonna start with just this functionality. Like that's why we're detecting keys, because that's what, like when I say up here, it presses left shift and dash.
Mhm.
And there's all these other. So there's voice, there's head movements. So you can tilt your head or lean back, press a button. It can detect your facial expressions, and it can detect pushing a button on your phone. So, like, we're gonna start with just integrating it like this, but it'll be cool at some point
Mhm.
if we have it built in. And then we also have there's another version of this, so I say no to that. Let's combine every. Oops. Yeah, let's try that again. I'm just gonna have my virtual game pad somewhere. So X360 CE. So right now I have the A button set to something. What did I set it to? And the A button. So if I go here, what the heck? I think I just have too many things open. It normally works. I'm gonna open it as admin. And I'm glad ours is gonna work better than this one. This one's difficult to use.
Yeah, the web-based ones are kind of hard. No.
Right now. Alright, well it was working. And what this does will using your Xbox adapter controller.
Mhm.
It'll take those button presses and anything you do on that controller and push it through Overjoyed.
Right.
Um, and then you can do the same with the Nintendo Switch.
Mhm.
But it can turn a Nintendo Switch, it can turn an Xbox gamepad and make it work with Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, but why would you ever want like why not just create and I'm just thinking like out loud here, but why not just create an Xbox controller widget and a Switch controller widget and then in Overjoyed and then you can
Because the XAC is a controller in itself, so we have to listen to it and mirror that. You get it?
kind of
There's a lot
like
of things that emulate a gamepad, like the like X360 CE or the Xbox Adaptive Controller,
mhm.
the quad stick,
But there's no
or
library
like
that like virtualizes Xbox controller input.
no,
Hmm.
oh there is, but we're taking this is for combining with other things that already do that.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, kind of.
Or imagine, the way I've done it is I had this on,
Mhm.
and my friend connected this controller to my computer,
Right.
and this detected that, and we were able to play as one person together.
Hmm.
So it's more for like a companion mode
Okay.
for your caregiver or family member or brother or sister
Mhm.
are playing along with you. Basically, I've added these things because a lot of people have requested them. So basically, what we need to do is we need to be able to take mouse movement, clicking, adaptive switches, game pads,
Right. And I would start with mice
different.
first and then move on to other, um, like, input devices that isn't a mouse. Like, you know what I mean? That's like an Xbox controller or a Switch controller or,
And I don't know if you've seen this.
voice.
This is a the click safe zone. So what happens is I'm gonna close half the stuff I have open.
You got a lot of windows open.
I know, and it's confusing me. But why is my keyboard so massive?
Oh shit. Fuck. Well,
Alright, I gotta. Alright, whoa. Stop. What is happening? It combined with itself. Oh no.
Just close all of it.
See if this works. We're back.
Oh, it has the 8-bit gamepad on it? That's kinda cool.
Yeah, so they have 4 of those plugged in it now. So I have this. So you'll see, okay, it works normally.
Mhm.
But you'll notice if I'm here, nothing's happening. It's not until I leave that.
Right. It's just another zone where it doesn't,
Yeah, it's a click safe zone.
which, I mean, that's
And
basically
the
what the center
coolest
does if you
thing,
don't have anything mapped to it. And I mean, if we have multiple views, the kind of shape of it doesn't really like, yeah, the dial, you can fit more buttons in a smaller space, kind of, but I don't
I
know, feels
think
like
the
the
dial
center.
will be the default, and then we'll have anything else you want.
Right. But it's kinda like the
I
shape
saw,
of button inputs isn't really like, whether it's shaped like a keyboard or a dial, I don't know. I
a
don't think
dial
that.
has a safe center,
Right,
and I can reach all the keys. That's why we did that.
right.
And I use that all the time, so I kind of like that. But I'm open to having more. I think we just start with this.
Mhm.
All right, so we have disable mouse clicks. And what that does, and why I have this keyboard here, but you'll notice that it doesn't respond to my clicking at all.
Okay.
But it will respond if I hit that. Come on. You were
So
just
you're
working.
only accepting keyboard input and not mouse input, or do I have that wrong?
See, I mean, for some reason it doesn't work until I have this. Oh, come on. No, I don't want that. I want. Alright, so yeah, it wasn't my clicks, but if I go here, I'm holding the dash, and the dash acts as a left click.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's a messy thing that happened.
And what's the use of that? Like, have you ever used that?
It's for someone that wants to hold the switch in their hand and do the clicks with that.
Okay.
I had one person request that because they're using their mouse and moving around and accidentally clicking all the time.
Oh, okay. So it's almost like you just want to track mouse movement and not the buttons, right?
Yeah, they need some way to press the buttons, yeah.
No, okay.
So it needs to know, like, if your mouse is in here and you flick your switch.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially you have basically anything can be your mouse, anything can be clicks.
Okay.
Like those are two types of triggers. Like, because you can use your eyes to move the mouse or use your head to move the mouse.
Mm-hmm.
And you can click with pressing something on the keyboard or really anything. So what do you think your next step is?
Getting access inputs in, so more than just buttons, and then making like a so the dial I would consider to be an action widget, so it's buttons, and maybe just creating that thumbstick idea that I had. So we have a access input, and then work
Oh,
on
hi,
more,
Ari. Thanks for coming in.
and then
My friend Ari's here.
coming on the stream. You're in chat.
Yeah, I wasn't even paying attention.
And then once we have access input and action input, so we'll have the dial and then another item. Just work on adding like all the Windows options, so the visibility, the behavior of the window, so like whether you want to anchor it like in the top left corner, like figure out a way how to make it so it's always on top of Windows, no matter like where you click, so it's always above everything. And yeah, and for that I would build like a settings menu pop-up. So you just click a gear and it shows up, and then you have all the options for, how it looks, things like that. And then once you get action and access input to work, once you have one of each, then I might look into how to make it, like how to add things like drag and drop, like stuff like that for creating the controllers easier, I guess. Because right now you have to go into that bindings file and like specify it manually, like what view you want on screen or what widget you want on the controller, which obviously the user is not going to do. So, and then just keep working on features from there. But it will take time. And I really don't know why this isn't working. Like, this is annoying. It was working all week. This should be WASD.
I didn't say anything. I'm good.
I don't know why the hell this is not like working. and everything
Oh,
icon in SVG. So we'll work on it. Nothing too. I was wondering about is like resizing it. Like, you want like a button that says like fit to controller. So if you make a controller that's like this big, and then it overflows and the screen's only this big, you want like a quick button that will size it perfectly to the different like.
I would love to have a way to add transparency so the window's not visible, but the control is.
Oh, like this part is visible and then the window isn't?
Yeah, is that I don't think it's possible in Maui.
Yeah, I don't think you can do that because you need this is drawn in the window. So if you can't like separate them. Like this is within.
Can you
window,
draw it on the screen?
What do you mean draw it on the screen?
I paint it on the screen.
I mean, you can turn. I mean, you couldn't just have this on the screen. If that's what you're asking?
Because I used to be able to do that before Maui.
So maybe you had like an invisible window, and that's Windows API.
Yeah, and that's complicated.
Yeah, there's probably a way to do that to make like this part invisible.
Oh, I know, like a Blazor app will do that. Not Blazor, the other one.
I mean,
What's the other thing they use other than Maui? What's it called?
Is it WinUI 3?
No, not Windows.
I'm trying to think of other desktop.
It's all built on like HTML.
I don't know.
Not Blazor. Something like Blazor.
I haven't been using Windows stuff for that long, or .NET stuff for that long, so. But I mean, yeah, you could probably find a way to do that.
I got one more thing to share, then I gotta go.
Okay.
This is a lot of the things that we want to add.
Alt controller.
Come on.
Please wait.
It's taking its time.
There you go.
I don't like how sketchy it is, but it does what we need. I like ours to be on Microsoft Store because it's automatically not going to come up with those security pop-ups.
Yeah, I mean, it's much easier when you just click download in the store. You don't have to worry about it. What is
Okay. So It's basically what we're doing. It's like when your pointer is in the region and you, okay, so here you go. Is it inside? Is it pressed? Did you release? Did you dwell in there? And then your region. It's very unintuitive, but it's okay. And then apply.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it paints it on the screen. That's actually pretty cool. Yeah, maybe like getting it to do that would be cool. Like getting rid of the window and just having it painted just like that.
I wish you could just, instead of having all this, I wish you could just go click all just like that, just like I'm making that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just like I'm making this rectangle. And obviously you can change like this, the background color. And now it's that color. What it is. Pretty complicated.
Oh, the UI is just not that great. I mean, it's a pretty basic idea. But
A lot of people use this. And then we have all these regions. So on that right is clicked. And right now they just have mouse and keyboard.
kind of cool.
I don't know what this is.
So I think what that's doing is it's spawning like a child. Like you have your main window with the X mark on it and like the resize buttons, and then it spawns like a child. And that child is associated to like that will run in the background. It's associated with that main window, and that's what lets them draw like just you're basically drawing like a child window outside of the main one, like if you know what I mean.
Let's see, do they have a release notes? There's originally, well, I released a version 2 years ago. I was trying to see, oh, here we go. Let me close it so I can see everything. Let's look at the license for it. So it looks pretty open, right? A GNU, general public use.
I guess. I mean, we're not gonna. I mean, it's not like we're taking all of it. I would just look at how they do the window thing and then like ask
Yeah.
Claude and then compare the two and just do kind of our own version. But yeah, that's another feature to look at. There's a lot of stuff you can add. It's just a matter of I want to add the most useful basic stuff first and then worry about like extra stuff like this. Because that's more of like a visual thing. Like, is it better? Like a little bit, yeah, but I mean, it's not that bad having just to be really transparent in the corner.
And on Sunday we will try out the updated remote version.
Okay. I
And
mean,
one thing
yeah,
I'm working on separately is for you use the phone version, when you lift your finger, it'll automatically teleport back to the center. Just like a regular joystick.
mhm.
So I am working on I have an open source trackpad I use. I'm working on adding firmware that whenever your finger leaves the trackpad,
Yeah.
it will press the button and teleport you back.
Huh.
So I'm
Okay.
trying to make my trackpad work like a phone touchscreen.
Oh, I see.
Essentially, what the firmware will do is it will, anytime there's 0 fingers detected, it will press the F13 key. Did you know there is F13 to F24?
Function keys?
Yeah, there's more than 12. Did you know that?
Yeah. Yeah, but most keyboard. I mean, if you look at like the old IBM keyboards that have them, like the really old ones, they
Because
have
I
like
was trying to think of
flash.
like, what can I press that doesn't do anything? And that's where AI told me.
Yeah, function.
I didn't want every time I finger to leave for it to click something or do something.
Right.
But right now, Overjoyed won't detect it. We'll check and see when F13 pressed, return to center. Because then when you're playing a game, like a racing game, I can move my finger right, turn right, and then release, and I am going straight. But I'm essentially trying to find ways to more realistically emulate a joystick. Because when you're playing a game, you let go of the joystick, you stop moving.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, we have to move the joystick back to the center manually.
Well, and I think making a virtual, like I said, like a widget that is just a joystick you control with your mouse would be much easier than trying to convert a button into a mouse, into an access input. That's kind of my next thing I'm going to do once I figure out how
Yeah,
this is working.
I guess I'll keep working on the unique ways to unique inputs.
Yeah.
And you can work on like how do we use that input and how do we output that?
And eventually my version will catch up with your version. That's the goal.
I guess the question is, at what point do we put your version up? Do we put yours up as like a beta version at some point?
When I would do it as like an if you can, like an optional update first, but I wouldn't make it the full thing until we like use it a lot. And
I would say we'd have 2 different versions on the store.
right.
One's the experimental beta version.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We'll have to figure out how we
We'll figure it
do
out,
that.
but I mean, it's nowhere near that, so I wouldn't be concerned about it now.
Yeah.